Hi everyone, this is Tanya the Lady Strange. This is going to be another weekly collective reading, a guidance and energetic message from the universe, from my guides, my personal demon, my gifts, and the spirits, entities, and deities I walk with. This is just meant to be a guidance, potential energies, circumstances, situations that may arise, things to be mindful, aware of. But as always, taking consideration, it's up to your own personal discerning and discernment, your own perspective, and your own perception on these things in life. So this may or may not resonate with you. If it does, then of course take away what does. If not, then release it and let it go. I'm trying to work on that. I had a very difficult week this previous week here. I'm still left with last week's Three of Wands energy, even more so looking, searching, waiting for something to come. I did not get the clarity I got. I'm probably going to film another bloggy type of video after this. That's just going to be maybe a bit more of explanation, but this is just a collective reading, which I'm part of. This week, I also did, and you'll see, I did not film it on camera because I did it prior to that. However, I did a casting of curios and crystals. I decided to add some curios in this week. Today, when I'm filming this, which is Sunday the 21st, it is the equinox. It is a new moon, partial solar eclipse, big eclipse month. So yes, so there's a lot of energy, a lot to step through, a lot to release, a lot to be gained, a lot that we need to let go, a lot we need to acknowledge and accept what's no longer serving us. So to get with that, the picture of the curios and things I casted will be on my community tab for this channel and my Instagram, Little Miss Girl. Check out either for that and the written actual channeled message for this video, well, this reading, should I say. So with that being said, crystal that came up as a guide this week, that came closest to my significator was onyx. So onyx is great, of course. I love black, so my favorite color. But onyx is one of the ones I wear. If you can see on here, it is assigned, in this case, to one of my spirits, the bracelet I'm wearing, I mean. But onyx has great multi-purpose on it. Kind of like the energies of obsidian. However, I feel sometimes obsidian, in her own version, she can carry more feminine energy. This has more of a masculine energy. They're both used as grounders. Grounders of energy, grounders of us in this physical realm and human life experience, but grounding our emotions, our perceptions, and perspective. Also, the need to take care of ourselves. So, and sometimes connecting with the aspects as no matter how we identify as a person. Of course, a person could be a spirit watching us too. Who the hell knows? But either way, basically, the onyx on here is telling this week there's a need for grounding. There's a need to really see what's benefiting you and in your reality, and with this eclipse, what you want to bring forward for the rest of this year and potentially into the next year. I feel, and as other readers are advising, and other magicians, etc. So there's plenty of YouTube videos out there. I'm sure any of you have encountered them or seen them on your feed. So onyx is saying the need to ground, the need to also perceive, and that connected to that root chakra there. So the sense of security, the sense of self and self-assuredness that you can get through this no matter what. As I have said, I have been through a difficult time, and it's going to be a lifeline. Well, maybe if someone sent me a lifeline, I'm just kidding. But a lifelong process for me. I found out something really unstable about that. So the onyx is even going to be very beneficial for me. I will be carrying it because it's going to help me to stay grounded and feel more of a sense of self, a sense of security that despite no matter what challenges and difficulty that will be faced this week, and just that is carrying over and into with this eclipse and into this very difficult and often strange human life experience, that the onyx is saying, carry your wither with you, or her energy, his energy, both. To me, like I said, it's kind of masculine. Carry its energy with you to keep you grounded in your experiences, your interactions, and what you need to put forth to make yourself feel secure, and bringing into your reality, despite everything else internally and externally. So the number 5 now is when I cast it, and you'll see that the onyx was actually the one that most closely touched everything, but certainly stood out with my curios. So this week, the number 5 came out from my universal hexagram on this. It stood out to me, so I chose it. Trust your intuition, follow your guidance, as I always say, or do your best to discern, and all of the above. So with that being said, the number 5 means a number of things. Like the onyx is saying, there's difficulties and challenges. We all have those, no matter what stage we are in our life, what station we are in our life, or no matter how we identify or practice. It's everywhere and everything in this ever-changing world and human experience. So the 5 is a number of change. It can also be like the 5 of Wands, difficulty, conflict, stepping up to the plate and challenges. So the combination of the two is step up to the plate, take a grounded, assured thing for yourself, make sure you're standing up for yourself and creating that security for yourself and what you're continuing to manifest and what's going from the present into the future. The future's uncertain, as life is, but you can know that you're taking the appropriate steps each moment, each day, that will lay the groundwork for the future and for your survival and assistance and existence. Yes. So I'm heavily channeling, so yeah. So the 5, be mindful the number 5 may show up this week. 555, 5 in the cards if you're a reader like myself, just a number 5 on the clock, or challenges and changes, but the ability to rise up and be grounded in your efforts and your experience. Now, I did cast these as part of it this week, a little different. A piece of driftwood came out touching these bones. So real quick, that stood out to me, even though as in the picture you would see if you choose to look, is saying to me that it did stand out. So clearly there's something tied in. So it's telling me what needs to be released, what is drifting away, what parts of yourself in your relationships and your experience have already been drifting away, and maybe you have to take that final step, those final steps and acknowledgments, and process those and let those go. So just like driftwood drifts away in the ocean, the wind, and it moves away and becomes lighter sometimes with time, so shall you. And this week will be no exception. There will be some of that heaviness lifting. With the leg bone coming up on that, it will help you by releasing and letting go what's already been drifting away and not serving. It's going to help give you a stronger foundation and leg to stand on. The human skeletal system is one of the most very grounded, stable things in this life, in our human body, as it helps us on so many layers and levels, and that we can move, create, and be alive. So with that being said, let things go and move forward, but safely acknowledge them at the same time. Through all these difficulties, find what grounds you. This is going to be a rather long message, so you can choose to stay with it. If you do, I appreciate it, and if not, again, to each their own. So this week, the decks that are coming up, I'm going to use the same ones as last week because they worked for me, and so therefore it'll work for me again. That is going to be Terra, Volatile, I have a lot of cards in this one. I kept extras. It's how I roll. And then I have, again, Purgatorium Hex. Now, Tara Volatile is a indie deck, and she's an investment worth every penny. I would buy it 3 times over. Next we have Purgatorium Hex, which I used last week, which is by Mr. Freiburg. And it is a very fun, cheeky deck with demons, devils, and witches. Witchcraft. It is, after all, that's my channel, and strangeness. But beautiful black and white art, and very humorous and cheeky, yet very realistic in its own way, and very much with the subconscious, like this moon, and like what we're talking about and being on a new moon. So this is by Mr. Freiburg. I do apologize, it's out of print. I don't know if he'll ever do it again. Hopefully, if so, I will buy myself a backup copy. It is a lusty deck. And lastly is these Blue Bones Oracle by Rose Bay, which is also basically an indie deck. You can get this on Make Playing Cards. However, she is very much an investment also. But she is worth every penny. You can see you get a lot for an Oracle. I believe 105 cards. I call her my Moody Blues deck, as I often name my decks. And that's going to be the Oracle involved. So let's see now, without further ado, what the cards have for us this week, and the message for us to be mindful, aware of, and discern, or that we can bring in discernment. That helps us through these day-to-day moments, life, and experience, and what we're moving through and processing, and what will help us to actually let go and continue to build newer, stronger foundations for ourselves, and for that which truly matters. What message does this collective that this may resonate or apply to need to know this week, this upcoming week, starting today to Saturday, the 27th of September already? And I'm here in central New York, and fall is everywhere and evident. So what do we need to know this upcoming week, starting today? Okay, that one felt great, so... Eight of Swords. Okay. That goes with the message already, that of the casting, Eight of Swords. Hope the wind doesn't blow away. It's a bit windy here this morning, even though we're supposed to be a lot warmer today. It's a bit chilly this morning and windy, but nice. Still happy. And another front, this one from the top, which is Nine of Coins or Pentacles. And we're being guided for 3, which is my typical number. I'm going to take 1 from the bottom. That's where it's coming from. Well, my eyesight number 1. That's what you'll see in the blog or any of my previous videos. My issue is with my blood, with my, well, I'm not going to say that, blind spot, yes. Oh, things are coming through, answers. Sorry, guys. Sometimes when I do these readings, things like this give me distinct messages, or sometimes more often than not. But I'm going to keep this because it's saying this. And this is not just a message, pointed message for myself, but maybe for some of you that are watching. You are asking the wrong questions. Yes, like I said, this deck has extra cards you can buy to add or subtract from it. So this one is, you're asking the wrong questions. It's coming from the bottom of the deck, but does tie into that. So you're not asking the right questions. Someone or others in this collective, much like myself, you're in a very highly, like last week, the Three of Wands, like I mentioned earlier, experience, but you are also, um, you're questioning, but maybe perhaps you're not approaching with the right perspective, and therefore questions that need to be asked of yourself, but asked of others around you and your resources. Um, just like I didn't get the answers I needed, perhaps I need to look in different avenues and resources myself, and most of all within myself. This collective also, like the Hermit, does need to look into itself. So be mindful. It's very pointed. You're asking the wrong questions. So rethink, reanalyze, and see what truly answers you need and what you need inquiry or questions on. So that's very pointed. So that's already explained there, okay? So let's go with the other two that came out for the message. And that's underlying, by the way. Like I said, it's on the bottom of the deck. We got the Eight of Swords. Swords are the realm of thought. Thoughts, logic, knowledge, and wisdom. Now, the Eight of Swords, and it's related to air, the element of air, that is. So, this week, like I said about the driftwood, and about the number 5 in onyx, and what foundations we're building on. You're potentially, I'm being told, and we're potentially, this collective whom this applies to, is indicating that maybe overanalysis really isn't needed because you're restricting yourself by continuous questioning, maybe looking for the answers within yourself and within your situation. You hold the keys to your own answer and to your own liberation. Yes, there's a blindfold there because life's uncertain. The future's uncertain. 20 minutes from now is uncertain. 5, 10 years is uncertain. Each day we are here and exist. However, how can you be mindful of what is restricting you and what you need to let go this week? And especially your thoughts. Your thoughts and limiting beliefs are holding you back. It's being mindful that you can, sorry about that, spirit. I see them all the time. So basically, be mindful how you can free yourself by letting things go. Acknowledge, process, and it's time to just, I'm going to swear because I swear all the time, time to fucking let things go. Don't limit yourself any longer and let your fears and anxieties rule you. And be mindful of not asking so many questions and asking more of the right ones. And the Nine of Pentacles is a great opposite counterpart to that, because the Nine of Pentacles is, yes, you have limiting sometimes thoughts and beliefs and have held yourself back more often than not. This collective is very intelligent, very analytical, and obtains a lot of wisdom through experiencing and analyzing the day-to-day in the past and the present and what may happen in the future. However, be mindful that you've achieved a lot. That's what the Nine of Pentacles says. You've achieved a lot through all the stages of your life and brought you to now and to you watching this and what you have and are continuing to build for the future. Despite challenges and limiting beliefs, and despite the price of things going substantially up in bills and the ever-changing political climates throughout the world and war and adversities and stuff and what we all feel and perceive, especially if you're connected on that, remember you have the ability to continue and have blessings and abundance in your life and what you continue to work with your resources, and you've earned what you have and the blessings you have. So do not feel less than. You may lack certain things, but you know what? You have many other things in replacement of it, and memories and experience, and bring that recognition of self and your experiences and your surroundings and what you can have gratitude in. The Five of Pentacles is not in here, but the 5 does show up with the curios, the dice casting. So basically what that is, despite potential hardships and lack, you've achieved a lot and you will continue to achieve a lot because this collective has a lot of strength, just like the Onyx. Okay, so this is getting rather long and I'm getting further channeled in. So let's see what Purgatorium has for us. You made it with me this far, thanks. It is appreciated. These readings are not just as much for myself, but they are for those that it seems to want to reach or needs to reach when it needs to reach them. Okay, and what do you have to clarify this week's very interesting message on this new moon and this eclipse? And there's the veil's thin, of course. Equinoxes are often hinge days, and we're getting the fall, and therefore Samhain in the end of next month already. So about a month from now, well, almost 5 weeks from now. Either way, a lot of spirits today. They're showing up. I've seen them my whole life. So yeah, let's see. What do we have for the collective to clarify as an assisted conjunctive message as a takeaway and guidance for this week? Little strange, but I am the Lady Strange. That's I can. Okay, one from top, one from bottom, being told. So we're getting two. Well, I can't really show that card, but I will mention it's beginning. It's not bad, but it's not to me. But YouTube world, maybe some people. Yeah, I like to push the limits a bit, but yeah. Okay. Well then, so we got, like I said, I like how they do it to me where they can give me a specific message when I'm reading for a collective. Okay, so I can show the second card though. First card is Unholiness, followed by Dignity. I love this Dignity card. It's one of my favorites in this Purgatorium Hex deck. It really is. I mean, look at that. She's got that which has the universe within her cloak and within herself surrounding her. She is a part of the whole and part of the universe. Even if she feels she's not, she certainly is. And that's nature, that's life, that's relevance, and the things that actually matters, and her experiences, her voice. Just as this collective has its experiences, its voice, and how it feels and how it analyzes and puts forth. So, wonderful. Sorry guys. Wind's trying to blow my cards everywhere. I do not want to lose these very expensive cards. Okay, so to reframe, could we kindly not have so much wind? At least for the next foreseeable 10 minutes. Okay, my bloopers. You see them all the time if you've even been here for a hot minute. Okay, so let's get into factual. This collective's had a lot of struggles and difficulties and pain. Yes, from what they see in the world, and that it's going to just continue to get worse. That's reality. We're not going to sugarcoat things. But you've had a lot of painful experiences, a lot more than maybe what you consider your fair share, and unholiness. And unholiness in this case is telling me injustice. This is things that maybe you did not get the right answers from. And not just from asking the wrong questions, but from many other shortcomings. That's people in this life. Or your spirituality sometimes. We're human. So faith is a challenging aspect with this world. But it's the unholiness of what sometimes life has dealt you and others have dealt you. Things out of your control. Things that maybe choices you made that you believe were not the right ones. But it's saying that despite those things, continue to have dignity this week. Despite of the reflection of those transgressions and challenges and things that have not been accomplished or have been done, or that you may have to plan and face forward or see in this world, have dignity with that. And you've had dignity, continue to have dignity and composure for yourself and others, where others may fail at having integrity or showing up for you, you can still know you are doing what is right by your moral compass for yourself and, of course, for yourself. Follow your own moral and internal compass. Have dignity and continue to have dignity as you had from the beginning. I see this collective again is very strong. You hold the world at your fingertips, meaning how you can show up for yourself, and that's what truly matters. Again, the answers lie within you, and okay, thank you, Wind. All right, and so again, having dignity despite trials and despite unfairness and injustice and unanswered questions. Have dignity to reapproach and reframe and realign. Okay, and lastly, we're going to take from the blue bones before my cards are all blown away. And yeah, what do you have for us? These blue bones, or my moody blues, I call. What would you like to wrap up this message with, Spirit? And for this collective to know that ties in. What ties in and wraps up as closure for this message this week, please. Okay, well, you gave two. I was just going to say one, but you gave two. Sorry. Oh, you gave three. Wow, how appropriate. Just like the Atlanta Sun, one of the lyrics in the Atlanta Sun says, yep, we'll take all three. Okay. This one's appropriate to the whole message I mentioned about dignity and about the Eight of Swords and seeing the truth and the reality and how your thoughts and your beliefs affect you, but what you need to let go to release yourself. But you don't feel seen. That's the message. I know that. I don't feel seen. And my problem with my health has to do with my eyesight. But it's being seen and acknowledged that you feel. Be mindful that what you are still seen. Maybe you're not seen by those in your life that matter, but you are, or other people, or where you're looking for validation, but you are seen. You're seen by the universe. You're being seen by yourself, your soul, your inner child, and that which truly matters in your life. So remember, you are seen. You are part of the universe. You have a lot of dignity, and you can continue to bring dignity to your questioning experiences and reward your accomplishments and acknowledge them. Pride can be a very healthy thing when approached the right way. And next, things, as I said, with the driftwood and that mentioning and the leg foundations of the skeletal. Release and know and be wholly at peace. Be wholly at peace that you don't know the answers, but that the choices you have made or your experiences has still brought you to the fact that you're watching this and still standing. You are going to, despite that whole restrictions, limited beliefs, with that Nine of Pentacles, I feel this ties in, you are going to start feeling more at peace and acceptance with your situations and how you can move forward despite what happens. And lastly, this one's fun. This deck has a lot of fun things and keywords, and of course the color blue, beautiful shades of blue. But your princess is in another castle. I'm not a gamer, but hello, we all have games around us of all different forms throughout our life. And one of them is the princess rescuing the princess, like in Mario's. Yeah, wow. I don't know where some of this stuff comes from. Maybe it applies to something, but it does apply to principles. Maybe the aspect of principles, not as in principle of school, but principles of people and life, the principles and their perspective and foundations. So, like you're asking the wrong questions, like that pointedly came out. Your answer and what you're seeking is not where you're looking. Let's put it that way, but remember to be peace at that, and that's the first step to moving forward and following those guidance and intuition within. Overall, yes, there's challenges of the unseen and uncertainty this week and how we're going to move forward, but you have the strength. Face and look at things from a realistic perspective. How you can let thoughts, feelings, energies, and relationships go that no longer serve you. Seek the answers and reframe elsewhere. They are there, but most of all, they're within yourself. Other than that, though, recognize yourself and the abundance you have. You've done the hard work, and it will continue to be evident as you move forward. And if this message, rather rambly, but yeah, is if it resonates with you and any of it applies, please let me know below. And please like and subscribe and comment, as it helps my small channel grow, knowing that the message that's conveyed through me and that I share with my guests, as others share with me, reaches you. And of course, if you do like my channel and following it and my readings, please hit that notification bell, as it helps you to see when my readings and things post and show up on your feed. And with that being said, stay strange.